Think about the wealthiest people on Earth. They have infinite resources. They can hire the brightest advisors, buy the fastest data, and delegate almost every daily task. Yet, the self-made billionaires among them intentionally block out their schedules to sit completely alone in quiet rooms. Bill Gates isolated himself in a cabin twice a year for Think Weeks, spending days doing nothing but poring over complex documents and books. When Charlie Munger was asked about the traits of highly successful people, he noted simply that every wise person he knew read constantly. They aren't reading for entertainment or to pass the time. They use books as a specific tool to construct a strategic advantage over their competitors. To understand why, we have to look at what they consider a real asset. Most of us focus on equities trading on a crowded exchange floor, or hard commodities, like stacks of gold bars stored in a vault. We might even point to real estate. But stock portfolios can shrink, businesses can fail, real estate markets can lose their value. Warren Buffett views knowledge as an asset class that functions differently. Every book you read installs new ideas into your mental operating system, and unlike a house or a stock, no one can take that information away from you once it's there. He protects his reading time because he treats it as a prerequisite for everything else. He knows that while money is a valuable output, a high-functioning mind is the engine that produces it. This timeline maps the typical path of learning. An average person spends 40 years launching companies, making errors, and extracting lessons through trial and error. But reading offers a shortcut called temporal leverage. You buy those 40 years distilled into important lessons. You are effectively downloading a lifetime of human experience in a single weekend. This is why billionaires read obsessively. It allows them to skip the fundamental mistakes that bankrupted the people who came before them. You might assume they strictly study business and finance. In reality, they spend their time reading evolutionary biology, ancient history, economics, and psychology. The goal is extracting core mental frameworks from different disciplines. At first, these concepts sit as isolated data points, but as you consume more, your brain draws lines between them, building a connected lattice of ideas. Identifying a market shift or an economic trend early isn't a gift. It is the direct result of cross-pollinating diverse information to recognize a pattern before it becomes obvious to the public. High-level success requires making thousands of decisions. If you rely on limited data and your own narrow experience, you increase the likelihood of a catastrophic failure. Consuming hundreds of case studies creates a mental reference library. Instead of guessing, you compare a new situation to similar events you've studied. In a world where attention is constantly shattered by scrolling feeds and overlapping notifications, the act of reading serves a secondary purpose. Reading is a rigorous cognitive workout. It trains your brain to sustain focus on a single complex idea, giving you a massive advantage in a society that has lost the ability to think deeply. This chart shows the hidden math of reading. Notice how the line remains completely flat at the beginning. One book won't trigger a sudden life change. It won't solve your debt or launch your career overnight. But if you finish one book every 2 weeks, you accumulate over 260 books over a 10-year period. At that 10-year mark, your library of mental models hits a tipping point. You begin to spot connections and solve problems that took months before in a matter of seconds. The benefit of this habit isn't an instant transformation, but a slow, invisible accumulation of perspective. Most people spend their energy chasing quick money. Billionaires spend their energy making their own minds more valuable. The choice is simple. You can pick up the next digital distraction, or you can pick up the next foundational book. Readers don't just gain knowledge, they gain leverage. And when your mind becomes your most valuable asset, the rest of your life tends to follow.